Hi Tristan, we're going to take a look at your 5 characteristics posting, give you a few observations, let you know what I see. So let's jump right into it with sharing screen, and then we'll pull things on over and get to started. All right, so first thing that I do on all of these, if you look at any of the other reviews, you'll hear me saying the same thing for everybody else. I kind of look at the overview. I look through the entire posting from the long view just to see what you're doing. Did you post all of the images? Are the overall exposures, are they light? Are they dark? Are the pictures too bright? Are the pictures too dark? Are they labeled in a logical way? All of that kind of stuff. So as I'm seeing here, of course, you're missing the intensity. You know that very well because you put it in there. So at least it's not as if you forgot to do it. So that's a good thing. You're indicating, hey, yeah, I know it's supposed to be there, but it's not there, and that's okay. You'll be able to resubmit to include that later. You've got your temperature images next, and you've got contrast. And then you have hardness. Now we'll talk a little bit about the repetition of images that you got going on here in just a moment, but let's kind of move back up here and look at the direction posting here. So you have the direction labeled, and then you have each direction position labeled as this one being 1, this one 2, this one 3. Now, when you're putting direction 1, direction 2, direction 3, this was meant to be saying what position they're in, not just that it's the direction characteristic, the first one that you're putting up there. The direction 1 should indicate that this is in position number 1, and position number 2, and position number 3, and so on. You may have misunderstood that because it appears that you got these sort of mixed up, and in some cases it actually looks like you might have even selected images from a different shoot, because it appears that you have images in here that have 2 different light sources. So anyway, but it does appear that you're not indicating that this means direction number 1, meaning direction of the light. You mean the direction category. This is your first picture, but it's meant to be direction number 1, meaning you have the camera here, and then the light is very close to it. Direction 2, 3, 4, and so on. This isn't direction 1 because I can tell where the light is coming from, and it's not where the camera is because I have a shadow there. Now that's what's sort of confusing. You have a light kind of coming from this side because I can see where the highlight is. You've also got a light coming from this side, and there is no light here because there's a shadow. This is where the position 1 light would be. You've also got a shadow right here going in that direction. You see, when you know the 5 characteristics of light, you can, as a photographer, you can break down the light. You can tell where the lighting is coming from and how it was built. And I can tell to a certainty that there is no light next to the camera in this image, that a light is coming from over here, producing the shadow right here. There's also a light coming from this side, producing this highlight over here. So I can tell there are 2 lights going on in this photograph, which means it shouldn't belong in the direction. So it seems like maybe you got some of your photos mixed up or something like that. So we'll take care of that. That said, compositionally, let's kind of move past that, because I think we need to have you looking at all of these images and kind of figuring out what went wrong here, because you definitely have a mix-up with your images. So you and I'll have to to get with you and kind of have you explain to me what happened here as far as like what you were posting. In terms of, did you mix up your images or something like that? Because they're definitely, this doesn't seem to be the direction assignment that you're showing me here. At least some of the images don't seem to be the direction characteristic. But your compositions are very good. You're doing a really good job of using the entire picture plane. In other words, the entire space that you have available inside of your frame when you're looking through the camera. You're using all of the space that's available to you very well. You're balancing out the space. You're not jumbling it up into one space or plunking it all into the middle. There's a rhythm that you're establishing as you move forward. So all of that is working fairly well. So compositionally, you're doing some really interesting things. I am, however, seeing some repetition, as in your temperature. This seems to be sort of like the same photo over and over and over again, just with slightly different lighting, and maybe a bottle that one bottle got moved, but you were just sort of snapping the photo over and over again. We're not interested in that. What we're interested in is the exploration of the compositions as you go. Really wanted you to move around and make all the compositions. You're doing that pretty well over here. You're moving around the composition and stuff. But over here on this temperature, you've got kind of one solution happening here with the color combos, and then here you got it balanced. But as you can see, it's pretty much the same composition, and you didn't move the camera, and we're not. I think again you maybe misunderstood, or somehow kind of got locked in, or maybe you ran out of time and you were just trying to hurry up and get one of these things done. That way you could post it up there. I'm not sure what the situation was. I'm willing to talk to you about that and find out what was happening with that. Also with contrast, again, we pretty much have the same photograph over and over again. Understand, I really want you to explore composition. I really want you to explore the space and all the possibilities of arranging things within the various lighting. It's much more helpful for you to create different combinations than to create one combination and then just sort of repeat it over and over again. I'd much rather you kind of challenge yourself with different solutions than to create one solution and then modify it so subtly that it really appears to be just one photograph over and over again. That said, it does look like you did add some of the reflectors in here with the contrast, which is what you were asked to do. And so that's a good thing. But clearly you're going to want to resubmit a lot of this stuff, which you'll have a full opportunity to do. And this is how it will work. You'll get an evaluation. I have a grade form at their little index card things, and you'll be able to resubmit the project. And the way you'll do it is you'll redo some of these things, and you'll relabel them and that kind of stuff. And you'll create a brand new posting. You won't add on to this one or do any. You grab some of the photos that you have here, because some of them are correct, but you'll organize it just like you're making a whole new posting. Fill in the images that are missing and that kind of stuff, and you'll post it with your name, underscore, 5 characteristics, just like you did, with the word resubmission added to it. So everything's the same, you just add the word resubmission. And then you just let me know, oh, by the way, I've resubmitted. And then what I do is I go in and I'll reevaluate it. I'll look at that posting. Then I take the 2 grades and I average them together, and you get a new grade. Usually, a student raises their grade by at least 1 letter, at least 1 score. You can never lower your score with resubmission. I won't let you. I mean, if you submit something that's worse than the first one, I'll just say, oh, hey, don't, try again. Let's not make this your resubmission. But you'll definitely want to resubmit, because I think we got a little turned around on some of the instructions or some of the characteristics, because it seems like maybe either your labeling got wrong, or you got a little turned around on what your images were and where they were coming from. It can get confusing if you're shooting a lot of stuff on your camera, and then you try to go back with it all on your card and figure out what it was. It's really helpful at the end of each shooting day to go ahead and pull them off the camera and make a little folder and kind of organize them that way so you don't get confused. Because I can understand how if you just shot a bunch and then after 2 weeks you kind of pulled them off your card and tried to figure out, well, what are all these photos from? And then you're trying to figure it out. That could be really confusing also. The hardness, hardness is all about the diffusion of the light and that kind of thing. And that had to do with softening the shadows or allowing them to have a crisp edge. And I can see you're doing that. And this one, it looks like you're back to doing some more variety, even though we're still kind of using a lot of the same perspective, but at least you're mixing it up a little bit more on that. But just know that I really want to encourage you when you're doing these compositions to mix up the compositions. Try to create unique photographs each time, unless it's otherwise instructed that it should be the same photo over and over again, or subtle modifications. The next project we work on, the one we're working on basically now as you're watching this video, there will be ones where it's going to be kind of the same photo, just modulated a little bit. This first one was totally not that though, so we don't want that. So when we resubmit this, you want to be able to explore lots of different compositions. So no worries. I don't want you to freak out when you're seeing this video and to think that you're totally up the creek or anything like that. You'll have plenty of opportunity to reset and improve. This happens, to students sometimes where they just like, oh, okay, now I get it. I understand a little bit more about what the expectation is, and we'll get you straightened out. So keep shooting in the studio, and we'll see you. Bye now.